Welcome back to the Watchtower Report, where strategy meets reality. Today, we're diving into the key geopolitical events that shaped the week from July 21st to July 26th, 2025. From the Ukraine conflict to new trade deals and rising tensions in Southeast Asia. Ukraine and Russia. First up, the ongoing war in Ukraine took a dramatic turn this week. On July 22nd, Russia launched 42 drone strikes on Ukraine just hours before peace talks were set to begin in Istanbul. Despite the escalation, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky reaffirmed his call for Russia to end its invasion, pushing for diplomatic resolution even in the face of renewed attacks. This push for peace comes amid increasing international pressure, especially from European leaders. Just days earlier, Zelensky announced key anti-corruption reforms to strengthen the integrity of Ukraine's war efforts, which included a much-anticipated overhaul of Ukraine's anti-corruption agencies. These reforms, though hailed as necessary, come at a time of great domestic unrest and international scrutiny. Could this be enough to assure the West that Ukraine is still on the path to rebuilding post-conflict? The jury is still out, but the world is watching closely. U.S. Japan trade deal. Shifting focus to U.S. trade relations, an important deal was reached between the United States and Japan this week. The two nations managed to avert the looming threat of a 25% tariff on Japanese imports, including auto parts, by agreeing to a 15% tariff. This trade deal, negotiated under President Trump's administration, highlights the growing importance of U.S.-Japan relations as both countries look to bolster their economic power in the face of rising competition from China. Japan, while conceding to some trade imbalances, also seeks to solidify its role as a critical ally in the Indo-Pacific region, where tensions with China are ever present. The U.S., meanwhile, is eager to ensure its partners remain strong and competitive in global markets. But will these agreements hold, or will other emerging trade issues complicate the picture in the months ahead? EU-China relations. Across the world in Beijing, the EU and China held their 25th summit this week, a meeting that comes at a pivotal moment in global geopolitics. European leaders gathered to address growing concerns over China's influence on Russia, particularly its role in the Ukraine conflict. While trade remains the focus, the EU is increasingly urging China to use its influence to help mediate peace between Russia and Ukraine. Yet the EU's trade imbalance with China continues to widen, and these talks are unlikely to bring about significant breakthroughs in the short term. Despite these tensions, EU leaders remain hopeful that constructive dialogue can help maintain stability in the Indo-Pacific region, especially given China's growing footprint in global trade and geopolitics. What remains clear is that the EU-China relationship is as much about strategic competition as it is about economic collaboration. India's global engagements. Meanwhile, in South Asia, India is cementing its position as a global power. This week, Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited the UK and met with Prime Minister Keir Starmer and King Charles. The two countries are set to sign a major free trade agreement, a deal that could reshape their economic ties for years to come. Modi's visit, which also included talks on regional security and economic collaboration, signals India's growing influence on the global stage. India's push for stronger ties with the West comes at a time when tensions with China are high, especially in the Indian Ocean. Modi's next stop? The Maldives, where he aims to bolster economic and diplomatic relations as part of India's broader strategy to counter China's influence in the region. Thailand-Cambodia border conflict. In Southeast Asia, tensions between Thailand and Cambodia erupted on July 24th, escalating into open conflict along their shared border. Thai forces launched airstrikes in response to heavy fire from Cambodian troops, who claimed they were acting in self-defense after a Thai attack. The confrontation marks the most serious border clash between the two countries in over a decade. This sudden surge in hostilities underscores the volatile nature of territorial disputes in the region, especially in areas rich in natural resources. As both nations face mounting international pressure to de-escalate, the conflict serves as a reminder of how fragile peace can be when national interests collide. Global trade in deep-sea mining. Back in the United States, environmental groups are pushing back against the growing deep-sea mining industry. Greenpeace USA released a scathing report accusing the deep-sea mining industry of manipulating geopolitics for profit, claiming that the U.S. is prioritizing national security over environmental concerns. The report suggests that U.S. officials are downplaying the destructive environmental impact of deep-sea mining, arguing that it could lead to a resource war in the oceans. This growing tension between environmental groups and government-backed industries points to the larger conversation about the long-term sustainability of global economic practices. As we look back on the events of July 21st to July 26th, 2025, it's clear that the geopolitical landscape is becoming more complex and unpredictable. From the ongoing war in Ukraine to shifting global trade alliances and the rise of regional conflicts, we are witnessing a world in flux. These events will shape the future of global politics, economics, and security for years to come. Thank you for tuning in to the Watchtower Report. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more insights into the world's most pressing geopolitical issues. Until next time, stay informed, stay strategic, and as always, stay ahead of the curve.